This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going all the way back to Tokyo, where there's lots of people, lots of buildings, lots of lights, and lots of excellent electronics stores that I've actually been in over there. We're also going back to the 5 boroughs of New York, because we're going to be taking a look at this monster pack, Cthulhu. This is the first of many that are going to be coming out for the different series of games, King of Tokyo, King of New York, and it's a monster pack for a new monster. So let me show you what's in the box here and show you how it all comes together, and I'll see you on the other side. Now we have the monster pack. So here you can see what the packaging looks like. It has number 1 on the top left because this is the first one of this, and this is the Cthulhu one. Now I want to show you a little bit of the packaging from the corner and the side because it does look cool. It has this nice bezel to it. And once you take it out of the package, it has a nice little artwork. Looks like he's coming out of the ocean there, and it has a little stand up there to the left. Now here we have all the other components that come in the box. We see the Cthulhu player board, which has the stars and the hearts like normal. And above that and to the left are the madness tokens. And then on the right, we have the cultist tiles. Now when playing with King of Tokyo, anytime you resolve 4 dice that are exactly the same, you can take one of these cultist tiles. Then you can activate it anytime on your turn to get an extra heart, an extra energy, or another reroll. Now it comes with 8 evolution cards for Cthulhu for King of Tokyo, and for Dread Tentacles, let's say, you give a madness token to each monster you wound with the claw. If you have a madness token, you take 1 die for each of those tokens you have and you roll them before your turn, and then they're stuck on whatever you rolled. You can't re-roll those. When you heal, you can, instead of giving yourself more hearts, you can use a heart to remove a madness token. And when you play the Call of Cultists, you get 2 of the cultists, and then each time another monster discards one of these, you get to take it. And these cultist tiles can be played even if you're not playing with the Cthulhu. You could just throw it into the Tokyo game. With Even Death May Die, when you're about to die getting 0 hearts, essentially you get to gain 2 hearts, and you get to keep playing, keep all your stars, all your energy, and you get to steal all the cultists from all the other players. And for Nug's Spawn, for each heart you're about to lose, you basically can spend an energy to gain 1 instead of losing 1, and you can get up to 12. And just more different things. For example, when you're in Tokyo, if you're about to be diminished to 1 or 2 hearts, instead of losing hearts, everyone else loses 2 hearts. If you roll 3 ones, you can give madness tokens to each monster. At the start of your turn, you gain 1 if you're not in Tokyo. Or when another monster rolls 4 identical faces, they lose a heart. Now when playing with King of New York, on the top there you see the normal building tiles. And if you remember when you destroy these, military will come and attack people. Well, these work the same way. They get actually shuffled in with all the other building tiles, and then they get destroyed the same way, but you get energy. Sometimes you'll get an evolution card. Sometimes you'll take an entire another turn. And then when these flip over, they're the cultist tile, just as we said before. When you destroy this, you get to take it and then use it for one of these things that we talked about earlier. Now there are 8 evolution cards for King of New York, but 6 of them do the same thing as Tokyo, so I'm just going to show you the 2 different ones. This one is you can give 1 energy each time another monster destroys one of these cultists, and then you can spend 3 energy to put the discarded cultist in your burrow. Here, if you roll at least 1 skull, you can give a madness to all other monsters. Now I like the idea of these different monster packs because, if you really love the game and you want to continue adding things, you can be doing this over and over as the new monsters come out. If you're the type of person like me that you're like, okay, when a monster comes out that really speaks to me, I'll get it. If not, probably not. And I like that you can continue to add to the game with new monsters, which will keep it fresh, without adding, a whole big expansion, if you will. So there's a lot of things that I liked about this. Number 1, always adding to any of these worlds, King of Tokyo, King of New York, are always going to be a positive thing, for me at least, because the more and more you can add to these games, because they're great games. King of Tokyo is by far my favorite. King of New York I like, but just not quite as much. But anytime you can add things to this, for me, it gives you that freshness again, because we do play this one quite a bit. I like that they figured out a way to use not only the monster and the power-up cards. Of course, it comes with both power-up cards for King of New York, King of Tokyo, great. But they also, in this case, used tokens, different ones. We had the Madness tokens, we had the Cultist tokens, And they figured out a way to use both of those in both of the games. And that's really cool because you've got those cultist tokens that do one thing on one side for New York, but then they flip over, and then you use that flipped over side in King of Tokyo. I thought that was a really cool idea. I'm hoping that they're going to be continuing to do this and find out creative ways to use these different things in the different versions going forward. I like that this monster came with not only the evolution cards, but those tokens because they gave you a little bit more to think about, a little bit more going on, right? So you've got those madness tokens, and you give those to people when they roll their dice. However many madness tokens they have, they can't re-roll those dice. And I think that's a cool thing, unless they spend a heart to get rid of the madness token. That's cool, gives them another thing to think about. I like how, hey, you can roll 4 of the same thing to get one of those cultist tokens, and then that gives you, at any point in time, one of those 3 things. And I think that's cool. The underlying thing here is like, they're slightly making the game a little bit more complex, but just like an inch at a time. And I think this is a cool idea, and I'm hoping that Yellow is going to keep this going with all these monster packs that come out that come with things, because you don't have to be using the Cthulhu monster in this pack to use the madness, for example. So and it might be thematically weird to do so, but if you didn't want to play with the Cthulhu monster, you could still add this extra mechanism, right? So with Monster Pack 1, okay, we put the madness tokens there. We can use them as an extra mechanism to the game. Makes it a little bit more complex, some more interesting decisions to make. Now let's say the next 2, 3, or 4 of these also have cool tokens that you can mix into the game or not, whether you're using the character or not. And before you know it, maybe a year down the road, we'll have this King of Tokyo game that is great for new people, but gamers like it, but a way to make it layer, and before you know it, we're playing a deeper game with the same mechanisms. And I'm hoping that's what this turns into, is one that we can just play base game, great with new people, but put in the extra mechanisms with the different monster packs. And I'm hoping this is the route they're going, because I think this will take this where this game needs to go, which is just more interesting decisions and a little bit more complexity to it. So overall, I think it's great. The price, MSRP, is $9.99, just under $10. Miniature Market's got it for about $7.60 or something like that. I think that's fine for a monster. I mean, that's a great price. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of these. I'm really interested to see what they do with this. Do they continue to add more tokens and more things? And I'm excited about this. So that is the Cthulhu Monster Pack for King of Tokyo, King of New York.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for backing me on Kickstarter and making this season become a reality. I'd like to especially thank those here that have backed me at the credit level. Now, these video reviews are also available by audio on our podcast. It's the intros and the final thoughts on GameBoyGeek.com. Click podcast.